All right. All right. All right. All right. Devil's advocate. What if Andrew Yang does not qualify for the December debate? Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to consider the path Andrew Yang might have to take if, for some reason, he does not qualify for the December debate. I know all the top Yang supporters, including Yang himself, have been echoing, he's going to qualify, he's going to qualify. But today, I want to go over some reasons why he possibly, anyway, might not end up qualifying for the December debate. I will look over various qualifying polls and consider the methodology used by each poll. Doing this, we might gain some actual insight into the purpose of each poll being used as a qualifier for the debates. First, if you're new to my channel, I want to thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the info that I provide in this video. And to my current subscribers, thank you for coming back and watching my content. I really do appreciate it. The first thing I'm going to cover is the criteria to qualify for the December Democratic presidential primary debate. In order for any candidate to qualify for this debate, they must have a minimum of 200,000 unique donors. On top of this, they must hit 4% in national or early state polls on at least 4 polls, or 6% in 2 early state polls. The part where it gets convoluted is that only certain polls count as a qualifying poll towards the debate. After doing some digging into the methodology behind some of these polls, this leaves me with some serious concerns. As I look into the various polls, you'll notice a trend. One is this company, Survey Sampling International, is used frequently to gather sample data. This company goes by several different names and is parented with Dynata LLC. I decided to look them up on the Better Business Bureau, and I found this company is rated with an F across the board. Between them and their parent company, Dynata, there's hundreds of complaints about them. Looking into some of these complaints, it seems like this company is being conducted in a fraudulent way, from not paying people as promised for polling data to accusing people without any proof that they are giving invalid answers on surveys, thus tossing their data out. After looking at the complaints, it is apparent that something fishy is going on with this company. It is almost as if the company purposely throws out certain data in order to manipulate the results. The sad part is, many of the qualifying polls use this company as a third party in order to gather actual data from people. And at the very least, it seems like a shady practice to rely on a company so full of many negative reviews. With that said, I'll point out other examples of polls using a third party in order to gather sample data. However, the differences are obvious. If you research these other companies, you'll find that they either are not on the Better Business Bureau radar or have a B or better, or are using government organizations to gather their sample data instead of a third party. Here's an example of polls that typically use Dynata or Survey Sampling International: ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, The Washington Post, NPR, Quinnipiac, and Winthrop University. Let's get this straight. 7 out of the around 14 qualifying polls, in other words half, use the same third party to gather their data from. You can see this information in the methodology section of any poll released. My next area of concern is the way most of these polls adjust their data in order to better represent the population of voters. Essentially, some of these polls, if not the majority of them, are set up in such a way that many polls will only contact people that have previously voted in an election and as a Democrat. And only these voters will count towards the polling numbers. You see right away this is an obvious problem. Other polls will adjust for race, gender, age, geography, etc. Based off of this, they will determine your likeliness to vote. In other words, they can make adjustments to the final results until ultimately they get the numbers they're looking for. This kind of thing is common in most scientific literature as well, and adjustments are often used to get a positive result in their favor rather than show what the raw data represents. When you start to realize how manipulative the adjustments in any of these polls can be, this makes you question not only the final data, but the margin of error in each poll. Some polls will state things such as, "This survey uses statistical weighting procedures to account for deviations in the survey sample." This literally means they took the data, they threw it out the window, and recreated their own stats with what was left in the debris. If you look into many of these qualifying polls, you will see the same trend with most of them. This is, unfortunately, in my opinion, one of the greatest forms of manipulation we face in our lives today. This same method of adjusting is why so many polls showed Hillary Clinton defeating Donald Trump. Yet Trump ended up winning the electorate by a large margin, and brags about it to this day. When you consider that most of these polls are adjusted by one person, or maybe just a couple of people in the background, the path forward via polling looks a bit bleak for Andrew Yang. If he ends up not making this last qualifying poll, we can look at the polls and call them corrupt all we want. But this will not change the fact that he still would not be in the debates in December. arguably the most important debate of them all. If this were to happen, this is very bad news for Yang's campaign. Regardless of what we think of the debates, most people see the candidates on that stage as the only viable ones to pick from. I don't believe Donald Trump even would have won had he not been on TV in the debates back in 2015 and 2016. And as much as I hate to say it, if Andrew does not qualify, he has a slim chance of making a comeback in this case. Honestly, I don't even know if there's a good counterattack we can make against this, except to boycott the DNC and their arbitrary rules. But doing this will only affect the future. It will not affect the current path to nomination for Andrew, unfortunately. At this point, I think our best option is to call on big names such as Joe Rogan to host their own debate on a separate platform, but this is a massive project in itself. We cannot rely on this to happen. Anyway, thank you all for listening up to this point. Let me know what you all think. Do any of you have any suggestions of how we should proceed in the circumstance where Andrew does not make the December debates? Anyway, this is Matt's work in progress. Until next time, I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.